Yin everyone, this is Thermite, and this is Weekly Shonen Jump for the week of August 10th, 2020. On the cover, we've got everyone, and it's not a great cover. I have looked at the actual Japanese cover, and the only real benefit is that you can see Senku's ice cream. But that's really it, uh, the tiny character designs all on the scoop of ice cream. It just does not look good to me. And I don't know, in general I do think I like the feeling of seeing all these all these different styles all mashed together, but usually I feel like they're better blended together, like with the New Year's cover, for instance. Like, sure, there's clearly some distance, but I feel like the cover had a better idea of, let's create these groups, let's have them all do stuff kind of vaguely, so it feels like they're interacting, even if there is the dissonance of their designs. Whereas with this, like, they don't really feel like they're interacting, and also like the big scoop of ice cream that they're all on just feels really strange. like King and, oh, what is his name? But like these two feel like the only ones who are like really interacting with ice cream. Like the ones who are like in the ice cream itself feel so weird. It's so strange looking. I am glad to see we have Kominami on the cover instead of, the usual two for We Never Learn, because of course this is the start of the Kominami arc. Very excited for that. I have put it back on the reaction slates. I do have to address the elephant in the room, of course, which is Actage. I did see that Jump did put, this thing up saying, hey, please read the statements. I've seen some tweets about it, so I haven't actually read the statements, but I am glad they put their foot down. I know in Japan, like, the physical Japanese issue does still have the latest chapter of Actage, and Actage was canceled because the writer of Actage was arrested for, like, I mean, let's see how they described it specifically. I guess they didn't actually say, yeah, they didn't say specifically what it was. And I am glad that they like made a point to say specific. Like, if you don't know, Matsuki Tatsuya was arrested for like groping essentially an underage girl, like a very underage girl, and for like doing something similar to another girl like earlier in the same day, which is extremely disturbing news. I feel really disgusted. And I am very glad that like this statement does point out that yes, like there is like uh Actage was a writer artist duo on the series, and the artist did nothing wrong. So I am glad that like even this statement is not saying we wish the best for both of them. It is saying specifically, you know, it's a difficult time for the artist, and we offer our support to the artist. I think that's the best possible thing you can do in this situation. A part of me wishes that they would have said, specifically what happened, so that way, rumors don't spread, people don't like immediately go, oh no, like the writer didn't do anything wrong, or that kind of thing. But at the same time, I get why they wouldn't want to like go into that, especially because uh, like the news will take care of everything else. Viz specifically just needs to say, well, Viz and Shueisha just need to say what they are personally doing. And this is actually reflected a little in to line things up slightly, Time Paradox Ghostwriter, where a big part of it is that, a bad thing happens to a mangaka within the series, and of course, reading Jump will not tell you what happened to them. I don't think it's like a cowardly thing to do or a bad thing to do. I think it makes sense. It's fine. But yeah, so I really liked Actage as a series, and I cannot support, the idea of, I can't say please support the official release with it. I can still say like I liked it as a manga. I cannot in good conscience say, consume this in a way that supports the writer, because the writer does not deserve support. He's a bad person. But the artist does deserve support. That is really the big, danger here. Like, if for something that has mostly one person plus assistants and stuff, but mostly one person, I can resoundingly say, don't consume this, or if you want to consume it, pirate it. I think that is a completely fine like way to go about it. I think like you are still giving that person some mind space in your brain, in your soul, but at the same time, I do think it is more ethical to pirate the work of someone who is not a good person, as opposed to giving them money for it. Like, you can still consume the culture without supporting them. And so, like, I personally, like, even if the next chapter of Actage comes out, like, through scanlations or something, I'm not going to do it on the channel. I might consume it personally, but I don't want to, put it out there. And like, if the artist ever does something new, I'll definitely say, "Hey, I really like this artist. I really liked Actage." Saying it's in reference to the artist. But yeah. Anyways, I feel like I really needed to talk about that. I'm also not like streaming this one, just for a bunch of different reasons. But here is what it's looking like. Obviously, Actage no longer on here. We Never Learn has been added because it's been pretty rough as of late. I mean, I really like Hominami, so I want to read this arc, but also it's a real I need to read it. I gotta read We Never Learn. Also, I did say Kaiju number 8, chapter 2 question mark. So like if I'm feeling up to it, I might do more Kaiju number 8s. If not, like eventually I'll do some sort of a catch up or drop it, whichever comes first. Anyways, well, hopefully I have timestamps, so if you didn't, if you got what you wanted out of this, and then you wanted to move forward, you've already done so. If not, thank you for listening to all of this. Let's move on to Black Clover, chapter 260, Dark Outs. Boy, I still do not like this arm. Like, I do think this shot makes it look better than it did before. Like, because we are seeing the extra detail to it, but it's not very demony within the realm of what what Black Clover as a series has said artistically. Like, this is demon, this is strong, this is scary. It doesn't give me the right vibe. Oh yeah. I mean, now that they're saying we should tie him up, I assume he is going to skedaddle or he's going to kill himself or something, but I am glad they are saying, just because he's down and out does not mean that he's not going to immediately wake up and do something horrible or just escape. Okay. Okay, so brother number 2. Oof. Boy, Black Clover has zero chill. There is no downtime. This was the big, alright, the fight's over. I guess it's round 2. Alright then.
I gotta say, that looks so much like Mashal. I swear to God, I turned over and I thought you were reading Mashal. And I don't know if that is a compliment to Mashal or a detriment to Black Clover.
I can see it. Yeah. Oh, right, I forgot. I mean, yeah. I remembered the whole idea of, yes, they combine the world tree magic with the dark magic. They create a tree to the underworld. I kind of forgot that this was all still happening right now, though. And I mean, they got Yami. They got... I mean, I guess that's enough. Plus, they are down one member of the Dark Triad, which, is bad in terms of numbers, but in terms of, like, demon energy, that might actually be good for them in the sense that, fewer people are trying to draw from the same source. See, it bothers me that, like, clearly the second brother is looking at Asta's arm and going, I know what that is. But it's so unlike any of the other, like, demon forms we've seen. Like, specifically the smudginess. It really is, like, as much as I like the smudginess on a close-up, I think overall that gives it a very weird look. Okay, so it seems like they're just gonna go right for it right now. And this is a moment where, like, I can 100% see the rest of this arc being the bad guys win, they create the tree to the underworld, demons show up, and then the paradigm of this arc completely changes. That plus, like, that wouldn't necessarily mean that in this moment, like, the Black Bulls are useless. Like, they're all super tired. They've been fighting this whole time. So I totally get why, in this moment, like, even though they're giving it all they got, they might not be able to win, but they might be able to later. Oh, it's like a tiny part of the house. I'm really curious to see how this is gonna go. Like, it feels like Asta's asking for way too much. And I was going to say before, like, as much as I don't like this power-up, maybe that is the point of it then. Like, if this is going to be the, what I gave you just now was like, it is power itself, but at the same time, that is the safe thing. That was me being a nice guy. But if you're asking for more right after I gave you the strong arm, what you're getting next is gonna cost you. Or what you get next is not what you want. In the first place, your body can't move anymore, and as things stand, I can't make any more contracts with it. It's your fault for being weak. Interesting that the devil, describes it as, I can't make any more contracts with it, not with you, with your body. This is such a cool way to really screw with something that has been, like, assumed since chapter 1, which is Asta's body. Like, from the start, from way before, the inciting incident of the series happens. Like, what we knew about Asta was he doesn't have magic at all, so he just works out a lot. He's always had the strong physical body. He's always been a great specimen of just someone who works real hard. And he's kept that up all this time, but that's never been something we've really had to focus on. It's really just been of course he can physically keep up with people who don't have to work as hard because they have better magic. So I really like this for attacking, this base idea of what Ast is. And I think that also really works with Yami's opponents being, having body magic, being this like physical form of not body dysmorphia. That's the wrong term, but like he has the ridiculous physical body, and he's able to achieve it through magic. Like I could see that now in hindsight as being a dark mirror for Asta. The extremely strong body that could 100% handle any sort of contract that a devil would want to make with it, versus Asta, who is just a normal guy who can't amplify any part of himself. Like every part of his body is something he has fought super hard to to tone to perfection. And yet, even then, he cannot, like, I mean, to be fair, I don't think he's hit his limit, but he's hit his natural limits. Like, at this point, he's putting everything he can into it. If he decides to go for a full-on, eat only protein, workout 24/7, like, there's only so many more gains he could possibly make to himself. Of course, even Rouge can't do it. I really do adore how simple Rouge is as a concept. I mean, first of all, I like cats, but secondarily, like, the idea of it as the ability of just, changing fates, and how despite that, like, it is not a broken ability, because, like, Rouge still needs to make contact. Like, Rouge can do a lot of crazy, wacky stuff, but there is still a limit to, what it can do. Like, most of what Rouge has been used for, like, since the Witch's arc, has been mostly just deflecting attacks. I mean, it feels like they've played all their cards. And the deafening silence of this page. And that also makes it, like, the fact that he gave Asta his sword for that final blow makes so much more sense now, like, thematically. Because now Asta still has it. And, I mean, whether that is a, special ability thing, or whether it is just the, visual significance of it, like, it's still important. It is still a physical reminder of Yami. Oh, man. I mean, I have no doubt in my mind that this is going to be now a saving Yami arc, as opposed to a, like, I mean, part of it's definitely going to be save the world, stop the evil world tree from branching down into the underworlds. But now there is a clear emotional component to it now. Like, Yami did, I mean, also, it makes sure that we can see that Yami is not a hypocrite. Like, he's told everyone all this time to, bust through their limits right here, right now. He did it himself. He arguably did it twice. First with the thrust, and second with, fighting alongside Asta. And it was still, he was still beaten. He was still not strong enough. And now his power might be the, the power that brings the end of all things. Plus, like, if they really want to tease the fact that he might die, this would be a really good time to see his past. Like, is he the main protagonist in his own isekai story? Is he actually just from a literal small island to the east, as Subaru would say in ReZero? Like, there's so much we don't know about him, and this would be the perfect time to learn everything, whether it is going to be for a, we pushed him to his limits, we learned about him, now he's, now he gets to join the Black Bulls, quote unquote. Like, everyone else has joined the Bulls through him. This could be the arc where we go, all right, everyone else is now secure in being a part of the team. He might have some hesitation, but now the team's going to bring him on, and they're going to say, you're our captain. Or alternatively, he could die. I don't think so. I am 90% sure he's not going to die, but Black Clover is a series that I think is, it is willing to go above and beyond. Like, it is the kind of series that, emphatically does not do certain things, so that when they do happen, it is big and bold and shocking. So, yeah, it's a 10% Yami might really die as a result of all of this. Even that, maybe 1%. Because I also do think it would be really big. Like, it would really cut into his aloofness if he is the reason why something truly awful happens to the entire world. Like, I think, for someone who doesn't really let anything get to him, I think that would really, really weigh down upon him. Anyways, that is Black Clover. Fantastic chapter. Now it gets the coveted position of number 1 and number nothing all at the same time. Enjoy it well, Black Clover. Next, we've got Bone Collection, Chapter 14. Last chapter, we had the fantastic, the fantastic Bleach-esque, oh, here's all the generals, here's, the big fight we gotta do. All right, we did it in one chapter. The Great Tengu ripped out my tails. Okay. Okay, so, what does that mean, though? Like, Kyuubi's true nature is a ball of fire. Like, is it, like, are we saying that, Kyuubi's actual yokai form is literally just pure flame? Or are we saying something else? Because we know so very little about yokai in the series overall. Like, if we are saying something like, he is the fire elemental or something, I guess here's where we see, like, is Shishino supposed to be important or not? Like, Abe, I think, has really ridden the line well of, not being a character, not being a series-breaking character, while at the same time being clearly important. Like, the mangaka's done a very good job of showing that, yes, Abe deserves to be one of the 4 Exorcist Kings, and that is, that is a title that is important in this universe. It actually means something. It's not just some nonsense. But at the same time, like, I guess this is a bad example, because if Abe gets beaten, just slapped around by Kyubey, or by the Kyuubi here, I don't think that would be a negative, because that is, showing what, that this creature is on a different level. This is also really interesting, because as we know, our main character, not our main character, Pyra, is SSS rank. Like, she is, maybe not order of magnitude, but she is clearly stronger than the Kyuubi itself. So the problem with this arc is not, do we have anyone who could beat the Kyuubi? It is specifically, like, can they beat the Kyuubi through, through the use of the yokai spell? Because I guess there is, like, the berserk factor of the series could be, Pyra just deciding, I'm going to go full yokai in fights. Like, that is always something that the series will have in its back pocket if it really wants to. Also, like, seeing the flame and seeing Abe's, like, shell melt, I think that's also important to show that this is just a bad matchup for both of them in general. Like, the flames were powerful enough to destroy all of these, yokai-tempered swords. It was powerful enough to destroy Abe's shell. Like, in different circumstances, they might be a lot better, even against a double S rank. What? What? Okay, so this is Pyra, but this is Kazumi. I don't know what Bone did this. I don't know what the purpose of this is. What happened? I mean, I knew we were building to some sort of a punchline, because it's been a while since we've had a gag, but wasn't expecting this. What the hell? Also, I guess this has to be multiple bones, right? Because you've got the double guns and then also the entire bike, right? That can't be one bone. That's really stretching the definition of what a bone is. Oh no! Okay, yes, this is the reverse swastika, not just a straight-up swastika, thank God. This is the most wild choice. Because also, this isn't like a secret infiltration mission, so I don't know why they look like this. I thought our Sekima 2 entrance would be cool. That is a reference I do not understand. Okay. Oh man, we're actually seeing a lot of bones this time. Okay, so that's the Dyson, fair enough. I can't believe that worked! Like, I thought this was just, like, while the Kyuubi was attacking, they were sucking up some of its flames, but no, they sucked in all of him. I mean, I guess this might be the power differential between Pyra and an SS-ranked yokai. Like, just, one of her bones is strong enough to actually contain him. Jeez. They have so many options. Also, right third tibia. Like, they are... I mean, I guess the gag is, like, they're going for more and more obscure bones, and yet they're all extremely strong. I mean, this does seem to be more pyro-focused than anything else. Like, I've been thinking in the back of my mind, like, how could we possibly reform Kyuubi? But this is, like, I guess this chapter also, because the chapter title is I Want to Get Married. So I guess it makes sense that we are focusing on Pyra's dream. I've truly fallen in love. I'll show you my dream to become human and marry Kazami. Okay. That's also her entire sternum. I mean, to be fair, sure. Like, it's so much bigger than anything else she's ever created. This is so wild. Also, wait, Fei-chan's here. How did this happen? I guess a part of this bone must be the ability to just teleport people in. On death row, QB. Oh, and Pyra is, like, not completely transformed. But I guess this is supposed to be, like, her... I mean, I guess also she created this whole place, which must have used a ton of energy. This is so wild. It feels like a reality marvel from, from the Fate series. Like, instead of creating a weapon, she created an entire space that obeys its own rules, which is how she was able to teleport people in, which is why QB just straight can't use his powers anymore. It also reminds me a little of a certain scene from Umineko, where, there is this big wedding that is, like, the core theme of the entire universe at that point. So I'm really curious to see how this works. Like, is she doing this just to prove, I guess just to prove the merits of humanity or why she loves a human being? Or is it also a, like, I wanted to create the space to fight you? Because, I mean, the statement of on death row QB is so specific. I mean, I guess these are all introductions as opposed to, like, seating arrangements. So yeah, I guess that might just be, this, like, created attendant saying, like, we want to kill QB. God, this is so wild. I mean, also, like, the fact that we are going into the marriage thing feels like we might be rushing something, but I don't think so. I don't think this is a real, like, oh, gotta get to the end of the series. I think this is legitimately Pyra trying to present her emotions as clearly as possible. Like, from the start, she has said, I want to marry Kazami. So I can understand why, like, this part of her body, this entire dimension she may have created, like, whether this is just a building or whether it is, like, an entire different part, like a pocket area, like, I can understand why, in order to show, like, this is my truth, like, why she would go immediately for the wedding. As a chapter, like, it was funny, it was full of action. I can't say it was as good as Black Clover, and that is, I mean, it's close to it, though, which is exciting considering that, this is chapter 260 of Black Clover. The reason I thought this chapter was so good was specifically because of a certain character. So, like, to see chapter 14 of a new series do something I consider very close to that is honestly very exciting. But yeah, it goes below Black Clover, for sure. Next, we have We Never Learn, chapter 169. This is, of course, 13 times 13. I guess that doesn't really correlate to Kominami at all, but there's something about 169 that I find really interesting. Okay, Tomorrow Night's Pixie, part 1. Not my favorite title of, like, all of the, like, final arc titles have been, like, not a known epithet of the girl. It's always been, like, an epithet that we have used for the girl, or, something she's been compared to at some point, combined with something else that has very clear, like, a very clear impact to it. Like, my favorite, I think, is Supercomputer Thumbelina. I think that, like, that captures the energy of Rizu, like, super duper well. Like, she's got the Thumbelina design and everything, but at the same time, she is, the super hard logical supercomputer. Like, it's a really good contrast. Whereas I don't know what Tomorrow Night's Pixie implies about Kominami. Like, the Pixie thing, sure. Like, that also refers to her stature, to her, like, playful nature. The only thing I can think of is Tomorrow Night as referring to the fact that she is, like, the fact that she likes to put things off. That she wants to pursue being a doctor, but at the same time, like, anything that she, like, every time she has approached Naruyuki, it's never been in a, like, I want to genuinely do something. It has always been in a, I want to push this off, or I want to push Y off. Or, like, I want to buy time, I want to, surprise my dad, therefore I need you to run a distraction for him. So I guess, like, maybe the theme of this arc is going to be her saying, I don't, like, we can't keep on pushing things off. We gotta do it now. Okay. So, continuing the idea of each arc being progressively further and further in the future, we are now several years after the festival. Okay, so it's like a remote island off the coast of Japan. So this is the arc where he's a teacher. That's really... I mean, I guess they could double up, but I was really expecting that to be the Sensei arc. Because, then we would have the, hey, you're just like your dad. You managed to be a teacher. This was exactly what you should have done all along. Like, a lot of the others have felt like, like weird problems. Like, they felt like, oh, well, this is just a phase in his life. This isn't what he was meant to do. I thought we were building up to Sensei Arc and Yuiga being a teacher several years in the future. So I'm really surprised they're doing this with Kominami of all people. Okay. So we just put grade school and junior high kids together in one class. I was about to say, like, these kids are all super duper young, but then we had this kid saying there's no cute guys on this island, which felt really weird for, like, grade schoolers to be saying. But okay, it's supposed to be a mix of ages. I do think this is a perfect place for him to be, because it also means that he doesn't have to worry about, like a lot of, like slightly older people, like, his senpai is like 10 years older, 15 years older. Like, it's all just super old people and then kids. Ah, okay. So obviously that's Kominami. Like, I don't know if they're implying that, like, they're saying this, but they don't know that he knows that, they both came together. Or if this is going to be oh, I didn't know you were here. What a coincidence. Oh, we did see her in the background, didn't we? Yeah, here. Cool. I mean, it's not that surprising to have a character that you just introduced in this chapter be foreshadowed earlier in the chapter, but still. Oh, that's such a good design. I actually really like how this outfit, like, accentuates how tall she is. Like, clearly from this shot you can tell that no, she's still pretty short, like, relative to Yuiga, but it also gives off that feeling of maturity. I mean, sure, I'll buy it. Like, it feels weird that her mom, being the a big jet-setting, like, super doctor, is also just kind of in Japan right now in this super remote island, but whatever. Oh, yeah. I could not do this. Like, specifically, like, 6 years of medical school, 2 years of residency. It is insane. I could not handle it. My current doctor actually is going. Well, not my current doctor. I've been going to this clinic recently that has like e. What are they doing? It's called telemedicine. I keep on trying to say e-medicine, but that's not what it is. But like their setup is they don't actually have any real quote unquote doctors there. It is all people in residency. And then like they do the initial like interview, they do diagnostics, and then they like I don't know what app it is. It definitely looks like it's just a Gmail but slightly modified. They just go into a chat and like connect you to a real doctor who then gives you a prescription. I think that's such a cool concept, like especially now in big COVID times. It's really nice to know, like to be able to have medical attention without having to like actually go to a doctor and wait for a long time. Like you can just go to a place that's super sparse, that is very easy to go to, and then those connect you to a doctor somewhere. And since there's so many of them that they can connect you to, like the wait time isn't that long. Oh boy, I mean, I do think she is just going to be a like side character. I mean, I guess Yuiga is a teacher, and if we're going to tackle the future of him being a teacher combined with the Kominami, I feel like in that case this girl has to be important. But I really hope we don't go down the road of trying to turn this into a path for this girl as well. Like, I mean, path is even a weird way to put it. Like, I wouldn't say that the Ogata arc was like I wouldn't say that included a bunch of other paths. It just included a bunch of other girls. But even then, I don't want Shima to be a girl, quote unquote. Like, I don't want anything like that to happen. I just want her to be a student. And of course, like seeding this in the past after the after the exams. Oh boy, what shenanigans are these gonna be? I mean, it feels wet, so it could either be like this was very recently put up, or it could be like this is a shower, like it's on the other side from someone else's shower, and the shower has been making it wet. Okay, no. I, yeah, this is definitely her kitchen, not the shower. I mean, she's also just in a towel. That's the part that really confused me for a moment there. Oof, wow. I mean, yeah, makes sense. I mean, we've seen how good Naruyuki is with his hands and with, like, general domestic stuff. And that, of course, that gives you such an immediate, like, reason why they would hang out, like, more so than just being friends / maybe having something more. Like, yeah, honestly, you can't stitch someone up like this. Oh, and her mom was talking about that before. Oh, it's perfect. It's perfect. boy, that is really scaring me. I mean, to be fair, the last time I had stitches, they looked a little like that. Not to, not to dunk on the surgeon who was operating on me at that point, but I'm going to hope that means that these, like, this isn't the worst, that these are acceptable. But at the same time, I feel like Taishi was looking at examples of bad stitches when he drew this. So, all right. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I would say of the arcs, like of the girl-led arcs, like of the different routes we've had, I do think this is the best first chapter. Like the others have been pretty eh. And but that said, I don't think a lot of it is because of the content. Like part of it is definitely that we get to see Naruyuki as a teacher. I think that is really cool. But like the Komanami stuff, I don't think was very good or very interesting. It was very like generic Komanami, which is still fine because I like her as a character. But I do hope it shapes up. Like I do hope we get some real meat on these bones. I mean, to be fair, she's got a whole volume, right? Like all the other girls have had a volume, so like hopefully this will go somewhere pretty interesting. Yeah. That said, not the not the mind-blowingly great chapter I was really hoping for, but it's still fine. I would put it below Bone Collection, hoping that it gets better. Now, yeah, no live stream this week, too late. Let's just jump right into Me and Roboco, Chapter 5. That's a good way of putting it. This is conversational catch. Chapter 5, Roboco and Roboco. So I guess, yeah, the implication is this is Roboco. The Roboco I know is more like niche, more of an acquired taste. Huh. So this is her low power mode. It's a little concerning. Like in the same way that oh, what was that series called? It was the one with the otaku girl who was super fat, and then she got so sad over a character dying in a J drama she liked that she starved herself for a week and then came out super thin. Like that really, really bothered me. Like to the point where I had to drop the series because it was just like I can't deal with this premise. Like even if they didn't later goof around and say, yeah, this is a like it's a silly concept. Her body's super weird. This isn't the way people usually act. It's just her. Like it's still a really weird statement. That said, I do think this is a cool way of showing that most of Roboco's actions throughout the series have been, like, the gag has been, if she was more traditionally cute, you would assume, you would look at this and say it's cute. I mean, to be fair, she's also not like, she's not like making food or anything. But even then, like, if we were to say, oh my god, I just noticed that. I don't know what she's doing here, but that is, oh boy, that's a very specific spoiler. Oh my god. No, don't tell me it's Two Lover Darkness. Elementary school students shouldn't read any further than the Ayakashi Triangle. So I guess we are proposing a linear graph that goes Ayakashi Triangle, Two Lover Darkness. Oh no! It's not a gag when she looks like this. Oh, that's right, she doesn't have the Nappa knees anymore. Wait, how are they going to explain? I assume the gag is going to be, yes, she did make a genuine omurice and it's really good. I mean, okay, this shot, like, this is a classic Roboco pose. And I do like it for how, like, in her usual style, it looks super weird. But in here, like, it still looks weird. This isn't anything she does here looks super cute. But at the same time, I guess I can kind of see someone looking at this and going, yeah, super adorable. I do really like the concept of, like, it takes her more physical strength to make the, oh yeah, manly man dinner than it does for her to actually cook edible food. All right, time to go to the pool. Oh boy, how are they going to react to this? You're trying to say that there's something beautiful in this mundane, ordinary milieu, huh? This is such a specific gag, but I never get old of, like, to be fair, I can't say never. I'm sure I have laughed out loud at it, but also, wait a minute, I just noticed that Gotcha Gorilla has the go 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 shirt on. And kid whose name I don't remember because he has a normal name has the yen signs all over him. Is he supposed to be rich? Okay, what are we getting? Oh, she's back to normal. They're so into it. Also, I didn't forget the do not push button here. That's gotta come in at some point. Ah, with Roboco back to normal, Bondo laughed for the first time all day. Huh. Okay, yeah. I guess that is correct. Like like he enjoyed her, but at no point did he like I don't know. I feel like that's a laugh, right? I mean, I guess we're saying that's a forced laugh, right? See, that does bother me. That even if it is an awkward laugh or a forced laugh, it is a laugh. Like I guess the point of it is, he didn't have I don't know. I feel like the final gag does not, or like the final statement of the chapter does not reflect what we saw in the chapter, which was he did enjoy Thin Roboco. He did laugh with her. He did have a good time. Like clearly he was still preoccupied with the problem of it feels weird. But at the same time, it did seem like he was into her. And if this happens a second time, I think he would still be into her. I mean, sure, like yeah, you got the nervousness, I guess, but still, like it feels really weird muddled to me. Gonna put that. Oh no, I replaced it. Yeah, I'll slap it at the bottom. Oh boy, this has not been a good run thus far. Well, okay, let's see what is up next. Next we have Time Paradox Ghostwriter Chapter 12, Unfinished Worlds. So, he went through the portal. What's here? This is a crack in space-time. You may call it the blank page of the story. So how meta are we gonna get with this? Like, are we gonna go full on you're in a story, or is this more of a like the story Itsuki Aino was writing was so powerful that this was created? Huh. So there's so many so we are saying that whoever this is, like whether it is literally the robot or most likely someone else connected to it, like they have been going through things time and time again to try and get everything to work. Freedom of the heart is one thing that no one can take away. So this is like a liminal space. Like it is a place where they can just literally see stuff like this. I think that's such a cool concept though. Like specifically stating that it isn't like it is Itsuki Aino's dream. Like as long as she can still dream, she will die as a result of this. That is the plot of the story. Teppei Sasaki, you are the villain I cast to destroy the dreams of the protagonist, Itsuki Aino, and the hero who would save her. So we can, yeah, like if it is anything regarding stopping her from writing manga or like making her see help, like none of that will help. The only thing, and to be fair, this isn't even the only thing. It is just the latest thing that Mirai is trying to do. Like we have to let her write manga, but beat her at the manga. But even then, like, I mean, it feels fundamentally flawed. Like if giving her actual professional help or like putting her away from this kind of thing, like if all of those did not work, I don't know why this would work. If I told you the entire truth, it would have only confused you, made you more hesitant. You would have begun to wonder, is living with your dreams crushed actually worse than dying in pursuit of your dreams? Okay. So, implying, I mean, obvious implication would be this is one of her parents, who we have conspicuously never seen in the series. Alternatively, this could be, that former mangaka, the guy who originally introduced her to Jump. I also think the way he phrases it, or the way Mirai phrases it, I should say, is really interesting. I want her to live, even if her dreams are broken. That's how a parent feels. Like, yeah, I get it. As cruel as it is, like, you cannot, like, raise a kid while also giving them infinite freedom. Like, you're gonna have to destroy some of their dreams, because some of them are just dreams that cannot possibly work out. Like, there is something extremely painful about that. And so, yeah, I do get it. Like, I'm usually not a big fan of the character who is the puppet master, but he's the puppet master for good, and he's hiding stuff from the protagonists. But yeah, this does make sense. Because Teppei is the kind of person who would look at this and go, I think that's kind of messed up, or is this really okay? Huh. So, that's super interesting. Like, we are then stating that it's not just that, that future Jump like it's not that just that Itsuki waited all that time until it was perfect and then she started putting out White Knight in Future Jump. It is specifically that it was Teppei Sasaki who caused her to do it even in that timeline. Like as Aino said, they are two of a kind. Like they are the same, like they're cut from the same cloth. They really are similar kinds of people. It didn't entirely work out. I only have a tiny bit of battery power left. Huh. Okay. And then I will stop all time. I guess it also implies that, the robot's battery, like, stopping time would not continuously use up battery power. It is like, I can just do it and it will stay like that forever. Also, this background looks so dope. If she's going to die, no matter what, then I will at least stop time when she's alive, to leave behind a world where she lives eternally. Oh, man. I mean, I've been someone saying I don't think the series is gonna, end super early, but this statement feels very much like this series might end early statement. Like if the ending is the story of her death, then I choose to leave the story unfinished. Like that feels like a very clear, like if the series gets axed, I'm not tying it up. I want to give your story the opportunity to choose its own direction. Okay, so she is Mirai is stating I will give you two options, and neither of them are you will live in this eternal world where Itsuki stays, not dead perpetually. It is I bonked up. If we can't fix it here, I'm gonna just give you some outs, but I'm not gonna give you a way to fix this. Okay, so what I think he said, obviously we don't know. What I think he said to the robot was, "I want you to send my mind back in time." I think that's going to be it. It is going to be not a looping thing, but just a one time. With what I know right now, I want to go back to, some point, whether it is the first time they meet or whether it's before he starts White Knights. And then he'll, knowing all this context, he will save her. Lastly, I have one question. Who are you? I am a ghost created by mankind's power of imagination. Oh boy, okay. That is the most meta way they could have explained this. So, Mirai is explicitly not Itsuki's parents or, the manga guy. Itsuki is literally created by the mangaka for this plot. That is at once it is kind of disappointing in the sense that it's a kind of a cop-out, but at the same time that is a very bold statement of just this is the premise of the series, this character is the embodiment of the premise of the series. Okay, so it looks like they're back in the frozen worlds. I mean, is this are we just pausing for a moment, or is this actually just the frozen worlds? I really think this shot is so cool. Okay, so the implication seems to be that he did go back to, I don't know when this would be specifically, but it looks like somewhere near the end of, the montage we saw of Aino's death. This is at the point where she has no more assistance, she is just working on her own. And Teppei just has, it seems, infinite time. So it seems like the bargain must have been then, take me back to this period of time, just a few days ago or something before or I guess can't be a few days ago, but maybe a month or two ago, and keep time frozen. So is the solution going to be that he's going to just make the best manga using an infinite amount of time? That's what I think the implication is. God, what a wild series. I mean, this is the first thing I've read this week where I have to really think about where it's going. It feels roughly on the same level of Black Clover, but I'll give it the edge over Black Clover. Just for the balls, for the choice to go above and beyond. This is not what I thought the series was going to do, so God, I'm so curious to see how this is going to work out. How do you stop Aino from working harder? That's the thing. Stopping her from creating manga will not stop her from dying. So you have to let her draw manga. But I don't know how you could possibly draw a manga that stopped Itsuki from continuing to draw manga. Like, I guess it could be you draw the perfect manga, and then Aino decides, okay, I guess I'm done. Like, you've already drawn the manga that all of humanity could enjoy. But I don't think that's where it's going. Like, the series has been relatively critical about the concept of a manga that anyone can enjoy. Like, that is, it feels like the series is saying that is, an insane task. That is the thing that is just leading to her death. It isn't really a noble goal. So I can't imagine that would be the way the series ends. I I guess my final guess is Tepe is going to create a series that causes her to calm down. I think that would have to be it. It would be like you can continue to draw manga, but you don't have to try and draw something that everyone loves. I don't know how in the world you would be able to do that through manga, but I think that would be the thing that could actually, loosen her up. Like if that is her stated purpose, like if it is something that she reads, instead of going, I can do better than that, if it's something that she can read and just enjoy to the point where she calms down, I think that might be it. Because, Mirai said that they tried to get every conceivable person to talk to her. So it can't be as simple as a normal conversation. I think it has to be done through the medium of manga. But I do also think that the idea of just beating her is inherently a dumb idea for, stopping her from killing herself. Yeah, I think that's where I'm leaving it. That was Time Paradox Ghostwriter. Next is Undead Unluck, Chapter 27. The only one dying here is you. I mean, I don't really see them as being opposites. Like, clearly that is the implication here. And I mean, like, it's not a perfect opposition thing. Like, they don't really perfectly line up, but, it works pretty darn well. Also, like, Undead Unluck, it might be one of the only series I've ever read that has sold me on the coolness of English. Like, specifically the Japanese idea of, like, in the same way that a lot of English speakers think kanji looks really cool, and, those have, like, a single kanji put somewhere, or they'll, like, have a design that includes really cool calligraphy or something on it. Like in the same way, I do think Undead Unluck does a very good job of just using the words in a way that makes it look really cool. It has sort of an Off-White vibe to it, like Off-White, the streetwear brand, which uses a lot of like big plain text. Now, the only one dying here is you. Could be a statement from Unrepair to Andy, but I don't think so. Oh yeah, that's right, they're in the air! Air battle, air battle! Okay, so I guess Chikara is going to just freeze them both in the air, but then, I mean, if they're frozen in the air, I don't know how they fight after that point. Okay, I love the double statements of, yes, what I thought, which is, with neither of us moving, we're at a stalemate, and of course the, I can't believe I'm stuck making this ugly face. It's perfect. Okay, Andy can still move his hand, though. I love this face so much. Like, specifically being able to see it at multiple angles, I think, is what makes it really good. Like, one funny face at the same angle over and over again can be fine, sure. But I do think that, like, the camera cuts are what really sells it. Okay, what did he figure out? That kid's got his arms and legs fixed to a single spot, so he's only negating the movements of the parts he can see. Okay. Okay, so, and that's also why Andy's not falling. It's because he's freezing a part of Andy, but the rest of Andy can move just fine. Okay. Why was his immediate decision to hit Latla of all people? Like, was it just a, I'm not totally sure how this is going to work out, so I'm just going to shoot at them and hope it works? Ah. Oh, the shot looks a little wonky because of his jacket, but I think it's really cool. And yeah, these artifact Blade Runner. So as people has said before, definitely like artifact legs. Maybe they're like fully artificial legs. Maybe they're just like a thing he's wearing. Also, I guess it is just an artifact that shoots blades at people. A very literal description of Blade Runner. Also, big question: does Unrepair then extend to the blades that are shooting at a Blade Runner? Like, is Andy just stuck like that for a bit? God, I really like his ability for allowing, like, his ability is an in-universe, really cool manga panel. Like, if something really cool is happening, he can freeze it in, in space. Oh man. And yeah, in a fight like this, like in something that is so very JoJo's-esque, like in something that has very clear rules that need to be followed, Unluck is really such a good power for how out of nowhere it is. Like, there are clear rules to how it works, but from an outside perspective, it really is just some random thing happens. Ah, okay, so Tatiana's like just pushing her barrier to push them forward. Huh. Interesting that, like, yeah, the barrier is annihilating all the blades and stuff that it's going through, but it's not annihilating Andy. Or to be fair, maybe it is annihilating a little bit of Andy, but it's, mostly pushing him forward. Oh, and they're both saying it. The only one dying here is you. I don't think the typesetting looks super cool because, like, it's too digital. Like, it's too clearly, like, very basic Photoshop, but, like, yeah, it's fine, it's fine. Also, I guess Tatiana annihilating this part of Andy is good for, like destroying a little more of him apart from the part that was unrepairable. I love how exhilarating this is. And like this does feel like the big climactic final strike, but it can't be. Like there's still so much left to do. I mean, I guess it really is just we don't know what her ability is. Apart from that, like they could just, take down these negators, let them fall into the ocean, then skedaddle. God, Undead Unluck is so good. Just gonna slap that right at the top. All right, next we've got Chainsaw Man, Chapter 80, A Dog's Feelings. So, a dog, of course, almost certainly referring to Denji. Oh boy, if this is an entire emotional come down chapter, it's gonna hurt real bad. Okay. His will left half to me, another half to him and his family. It looks like he had about like 7 million yen. So that'd be like $70,000. So, I mean, that's a decent chunk. Oh, okay, okay. I was wondering, like, why did they need to rent a place? I mean, part of it is definitely their place got destroyed by, by Gun Devil Aki. But part of it must have also just been, like, even if they could have stayed in the area, they wouldn't have wanted to. Like, they gotta go somewhere else. And the apartment is cramped, but has a nice view. I imagine because they don't want the extra space. Like, they don't want to have to feel Aki in there. Like, it needs to be just enough for the two of them. Who's he writing this to? Like, is this just sort of an omniscience talking to someone, or... Okay, so they are still working. God, this feels so... like, I mean, nothing on this page is bad. I mean, I guess except for this. Like, they're clearly just letting a bunch of garbage pile up because they're not that kind of people. Like, without Haki around, I imagine they probably would just let stuff pile up and not deal with it. But, like, there is this extreme malaise throughout even this first page. Like, even if everything they're doing is okay, like, through context, it feels so depressing. Oof, okay, there we are. I killed Aki. Yeah, I mean, there's also no one to, like, emotionally walk him through this one. I mean, except for Makima, which I imagine if she had already gotten to him, he would have mentioned it at some point. So I think she is letting him just have some time to stew in his feelings and feel like garbage. I mean, yeah, because we did see that they are still working. Like, they're still going to work. We just didn't talk about the fallout at work because we don't need to right now. Like, this is extremely personal. Ah, speak of the devil. When you're cold physically, you end up feeling down emotionally too. Not sure if I'd agree with that. I mean, plus, also, he was literally just eating an ice cream. Is that her power? I mean, yeah, like, with the whole, you're my dog, you'll reply to me with woof, like, I guess all of that could have been her ability. I've been assuming it wasn't, though. I mean, also, like, her ability does seem to come with some level of your mind going weird. Like, whether it was Angel not realizing at all what was happening, or whether it was, presumably, Aki, having that whole dream landscape with the snowball fights. Whereas, every time, she makes Denji do something, he does seem to have full control. Like, it does seem to be a request each time. I don't want this. Oh man, Power's gonna be so scared now too. Like because Denji went out and said he was coming back, and of course he's probably gonna stay. Like if he doesn't stay there overnight, at the very least he's gonna stay there for a while, right? Looks really swanky. I live on the second and third floors, so extra swanky. I mean, the question then is, does she own like both the second and the third floors, or is it just like some sort of double-decker apartments? Oh boy, what does her house even look like? I'm imagining almost barren. Like, I don't imagine she would have a lot of things. Oh boy. Okay, this is not what I was expecting. I mean, I guess this would explain why she immediately went for, you're going to be my dog. And these are all like really good designs. So much personality. Can you tell him I rough you? Also, yeah, because of the sweat, I assume this is Denji saying it and not the dog. It'd be a lot weirder if it was the dog saying it. Like, I imagine Denji would have reacted more if the dog literally said it. That said, I mean, like, this is a good environment for warming up and feeling better, for sure. Okay, I mean, apart from the dogs, though, like, I didn't even consider that this clearly shows, like, yeah, she has a bunch of different shoes. Like, she's got some plants there. Like, it looks pretty normy. This, like, table also looks very normal. So is the couch. A lot of just books back there. Nothing's really standing out as being, like, distinctive, which is interesting. Like, in any other series, I would expect the, seeing this person's house to be a really big thing. But it feels like Fujimoto is intentionally saying, don't focus on the house. Like, you saw the outside, she has a second, third floor, so it's big, but it's not that important. You don't have to think about it. She's acting so goofy. Interesting that they're all named after, like, sweets as well. Like, it's such a big contrast from her devils, who are all named after, like, the different types of angels. Oh boy, this shot feels real scary, actually. Like, okay, like, a lot of this has felt really strange because she's felt pretty normal, like, pretty much like just a girl who has a lot of dogs, but this really gives off the sense of she has power. Like, she is controlling these dogs. Like, not through literally her ability, but just through the treats. Like, the face she's making right here is so smug. And I mean, I guess this is also a very clear, like, she's giving the dogs doggy treats. She's also giving Denji just a treat. And he's not, of course, like, he wouldn't be willing to say it. I think that's also it. Like, the reason why she's letting loose and, like, clearly, viscerally enjoying it so much, I think a big part of that is because she knows Denji can't let himself loose and enjoy it. Like, early series Denji, sure, but, like, this new, traumatized, more, like, reclusive Denji could not possibly cut loose. So she needs to cut loose in order to help him enjoy it, like, vicariously. I was listening to like these people who are covering a study recently, and they said that like there is a notable correlation in movies that are really garbage but have scenes that they want you to like. And like in those scenes, they will definitely have a character who is like, whoop whooping and screaming and laughing and like a basically a series or a movie that does not have faith that it is enjoyable will instead include a character who is enjoying the scene to make you the audience understand, oh, I should be enjoying the scene, haha, that was a really fun scene, I remember when this character was whooping. I feel like that is on some level what Makima is doing here. Like, she's enjoying the dogs to her fullest in order to let Denji enjoy the dogs. The best way to warm cold hands is to touch living things. And I do think that then says a lot about her. That it's not like she has one dog. It is that her house seems to be super basic, not a whole lot of things that spark joy, and then a ton of dogs. Because presumably her hands get so cold that she needs all of them just to get back to normal. Okay. And after like most of the chapter, we finally get a big shot, and it's a big sterile shot. Like, this is really showing off that, yeah, it's a nice place, but there's not a whole lot in it. Like, usually apart from the dogs. But even this shot is very specifically designed to not show the dogs. Like, they're presumably all under the speech bubble here. Like, it's just Denji's head, Makima's head, and then this big empty area. I mean, I kind of figured we were leading up to this. It's so wild that from, so early on, like, when Denji met Saki, essentially, like, that was when she gave Denji the ultimatum of, if you kill the Gun Devil, I will give you anything. Because, of course, Aki then got real mad about that. But I can't believe we're finally coming all the way back around to it. And Like, my perception of Makima is so insanely 100% different now. Clearly, like, she is control. She doesn't want to take over his mind, but obviously this is all engineered to make him do something, but I don't know what it is. I guess it might just be a, like, I went from something super dark to something super nice. I want to serve you forever or something. Or, like, never leave me. That might be it. Something like that. Like, something that's preying on the disappearance of Aki and the sudden extreme warmth and happiness that he's feeling right now with all these dogs and with Makima. Oh, this is such a cool shot. Noting that this is Denji thinking, like, genuinely 100%. Like, this isn't the jokey 300 IQ moment. This is a genuine, he is going through everything in the world. A dog. I want to be your dog. Okay, that actually ties so well into this chapter then. Like, it is Makima saying, like, here are a bunch of dogs. Look at how happy they are. Look at how happy I am. Don't you want to be here? Like, you don't want to be me, but you want to be in this scenario, so you want to be my dog. Which, I mean, she's been seeing that since the very beginning. But I guess this is, tantamount to saying, I want to be your dog. I want to be your anything. Like, I want to obey you forever. Like, she has essentially won now. I mean, I guess the big question then is, like, will she spring a contract on him? Because if she springs a contract on him and he signs it, that's it. Game over. But if this is just more of an emotional manipulation thing, if it is her making him think, okay, I came to this conclusion myself, then, like, it's less sealed in stone, which is what I think we're going to go for. I think it is going to be like, he still will have the ability to rebel, but he essentially can't. Like, this is the final nail sealing the two of them together. And now, if Makima decides to genuinely dominate humanity or something, like, when she makes her big moves, Denji can't say no to her. Denji will be on her side. God, fantastic chapter. And that, yeah, it ties so perfectly into the chapter title, A Dog's Feelings. Like, it is also, I guess... I was just talking about this as, Makima trying to model a sense of happiness in order for Denji to then go, I can be that. But it's the other way around, isn't it? It's A Dog's Feelings. It is her allowing Denji to relate not to her, but to the dogs. Like, she's letting the dogs be super duper happy, so then Denji can relate to them and go, this is the best place in the world. I'm really happy here. I want to be one of these dogs. It's so insane that what is one of the most, like, filled with happiness chapters in the, like, maybe in the series, is one of the darkest, one of the most, like, pit in the bottom of my stomach chapters. That's Chainsaw Man. I mean, if anything's going to the top, it's Chainsaw Man. Dear God. Get a feeling so complicated indeed. Got two more. I think I'm gonna axe Kaiju number 8. Or not axe it, but I think I'm going to leave it off this week. I'm not feeling up to it. So let's go right into Dr. Stone, chapter 161. Craft Wars. So when they say craft, I assume, I mean, that could be anything, but I usually think of, like, a crafting clothing specifically. You got the Senku doll as just a, like, Senku's here in spirits. To get into the enemy base, we'll craft a secret subterranean tunnel with the power of science. This is so goofy looking. Okay. If we are going to see, like, Chrome's first genuine, like, no help at all roadmap. Oh, yeah, because, I mean, I think we saw one before, right? I'm pretty sure I think when he was captured by the Kingdom of Might, I feel like we saw something akin to a roadmap. But this would be the very first, like, actual roadmap that is all him. Okay, how are they going to do this big dig? Oh, good points. I mean, it depends on where they start digging, but if they dig close to the compound, that defeats the purpose. Like, it'd be so much easier for someone to see the entrance hole. Oh, no. Okay, so the Senku is saying something. Gotta buy some time. Okay. Oh, also, Senku not looking good, which I'm happy about. Like, I'm glad that he looks legitimately sick and out of commission here. Like, I'm a little sad that he's making moves at all. I was really hoping this was going to be a no Senku mini arc, but it's fine, it's fine. Huh, so what are they doing? I mean, yeah, it isn't useful. I wonder what they're trying to get across with this. Like, are they doing a bluff? Are they saying, like, we made this, therefore you should be scared? Or, oh, maybe, actually, I think what it would be is, at the very least, like, regardless of what context it has, at the very least, like, it would take more than 2 weeks to look into this thing and try to replicate it. God, Minami is so out of sorts. I mean, I can't believe how does she not have faith at this point? How does she not know? We're gonna turn this page and Gen's gonna be cooking up a storm. A storm of lies. Yeah. You know, yeah. Why is he doing this now? I mean, to be fair, like, there's no way for them to prove that it works, but at the same time... Okay, so yeah, they do all know that he was lying about Senku. Okay. So, so Zeno does know, like, yeah, Senku, for some reason, he did tell him about Taiju in the past. So, that is good, though. Because, yeah, I could buy it then, that, you know, they don't know what's going on. They could easily go, like, okay, so clearly from the very start, Senku was pretending, that Taiji was the scientist. Sure. I mean, this is a real dangerous game to play. I mean, is Stanley gonna buy this? Oh no, not the head crush. Okay, so this is supposed to be a, like, we want to make sure that he doesn't hear what we're about to say. I love it. So goofy. I mean, yeah, this is a big gamble because it is outright stating, like, we have a dangerous thing and we sent a dangerous one to you. Like, if anything, that might increase Stanley's desire to just shoot them all in the head. We're counting on you and your golden right arm. Okay, so that's who this guy was over this guy. Yeah, so we are building up to the you-know-what. What could this be, then? Like, maybe just a bomber plane or something? That's all I can think of. Like, because, you want to foreshadow things, and if you want to keep it a secret, the best thing to do would to have it be just a bigger, more powerful version of something we've already seen. So there is a very clear, like, thematically, it makes sense. But okay, they got 2 weeks. Okay, it's a craft war. To be fair, I mean, I wouldn't call making a tunnel a craft war. Though I guess part of it is going to be, like, yeah, oh, he's drawing the roadmap. Yeah, so I guess it is going to be, like, they have to make something and then use that to, make the tunnel. What in the world is he going to come up with? Because they have to do it really fast. And they don't have time to, like, make support structures. That's the main thing, like cave-ins. Like, this is going to be a pretty quick tunnel, so it's not like they have to keep it around for an extended period of time. But at the same time, like, I feel like I wouldn't be safe digging a tunnel like that without some sort of support beams. So I'm imagining, like, they gotta have the tunnel, they gotta, have a way to transport the dirt out, so maybe some sort of, like, minecart structure. And they need, I guess, something better to dig with than just, shovels. So, some sort of automatic digging machine. They could take the, I forget what they call it, but, the thing that they dressed up before is looking like a monster. Like, they could just have that with, like, a drill or some sort of, like, digging implements. Have that going through the tunnel. Make that clear the way. And then, yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Like, yeah, that is digging all the way back to, the first science battle. Was that even in the chapter, or was that the omake? But God, that's such a good callback. An original roadmap for Dr. Chrome's first big invention. Show me this roadmap. Oh, that's rough. Okay, let's try to... I see Ruri over here, but she was erased. I actually really like the erased parts. Like, as a, I had, clearly either he iterated over this a couple of times, or maybe this was just something he did beforehand, and then he had to, like, work on it again. Because, yeah, there'd be no reason for Ruri to be here. So, okay, starts. Engine. Okay, so it's engine, iron, Kaseki's bad skills. I see his bad skills go into... Okay, the puff machine. and then also into himself? Or is this supposed to be a cute, like, he's also working on the Diggerific rotating loop knife. Diggerific rotating loop knife. So, engine goes into that. Iron also goes into it. Kaseki makes a puff puff machine. Also, they have some cloth. Okay, cloth plus puff puff machine equals clean air machine. I assume so that they don't die in the tunnels. Like, are they just gonna blow clean air into the tunnels? Then we got the Diggerific rotating loop knife. Pillars. Okay, so yeah, we do have supports. So they are gonna have to chop down some trees. Like, this is gonna be a bit of a thing. I don't understand clean air machine energy tunnels. Unless they mean, I guess what he might mean then is the clean air will give the diggers energy, which allows them to, like, work on the pillars? Yeah, I'm not super, I don't fully understand the clean air machine. But I think, yeah, Puff Puff Machine's definitely gotta be, like, the cloth is a, it's a filter. So Puff Puff Machine, put it into the cloth, creates clean air. And then the clean air is, it is necessary in there, along with the pillars to keep everything up so it doesn't collapse. Yeah, I mean, it's simple, but at the same time, like, it makes sense considering what Chrome has. And it makes sense. Like, there's nothing here where I think, I was not thinking about clean air. So he had a better idea than I did. I call it the Diggerific rotating, impelling, land-eating loop knife. Okay, I get it. So it's a drill. Okay, yeah, that's the final page. It's so good. It's been so long since we've had a Chrome comes up with an idea and then everyone's like, yeah, we know about it already. It's such a perfect, like, like we called back. It's a perfect three-parter. What is that called again? A 3 beats, where you bring it up again, but harder, then you subvert it. So it was we brought up the fire again as a clear, like, no, he's moved past that point. We brought up the arithmetic again as he's able to actually do it. And then we get, of course, of course, you guys don't know what a drill is. It's a drill. We know what it is. But even then, like, the fact that he did not know what a drill was is inherently really cool. And, you can even see it with this. Like, he wasn't thinking about this shape. He was thinking of it as just a loop knife. Like, it is just a small knife that, tears away at the ground. Which also means that, of course, the modern timers can then explain it a bit further and, give him the design that would work the best. That's just a cool little detail that, of course, he himself would not have thought of this. And of course, I imagine this arc's going to have some level of, Gurren Lagann energy by virtue of including drills. Oh, and then I'm so excited to see how this is going to work out, because now this is it's not just the Kingdom of Science working on a secret project. They're working on the drill, and meanwhile, Other Kingdom is going to be working on whatever this mysterious thing is. Which I'm going to say right now, probably a better bomber. Because then that could lead, like, I think these would be hard counters for each other then. Bomber is powerful enough to take out their ship. They might actually blow up the ship. However, they can't do anything about the tunnel, and if they evacuate everyone into the tunnel beforehand, Bomber ain't nothing. Fantastic Dr. Stone chapter. I don't think it's up to the emotional level of Chainsaw Man. It's somewhere around Undead Unluck. Like, this is... I really liked this one. I'm gonna put it above Undead. Undead was... I'd say they're roughly in the same area-ish. But Dr. Stone edges it out a little bit. The narrative weight of having so many chapters really does make a difference, I've noticed. Like, unless you're an extremely good series like Undead Unluck, it's very hard to really, like, push your way above when you only have a couple of chapters and some other series has so much time for all the characters to be more important, so by the time they do anything big, it feels so much more big. Anyways, that's Dr. Stone. Let's wrap it up with My Hero Academia, Chapter 280, Red Riot. This is Red Riot, and yet Mina gets the cover. And it's a really cool Mina cover, too. Like, we got our acid all around here. It's got sort of a stand vibe to it. Like, the fact that the title is Red Riot and we're seeing Mina, like, definitely reinforces the connection between the two of them. Also, like, just the sheer color thing of, red, but she is extremely purple. And, I mean, she's very pink, but her acid here is extremely purple. Like, there's something really cool and thematic about that. Plus the fact that the big chapter for for Kirishima in the Hasakai arc was Red Riot Unbreakable, but we hadn't had a Red Riot chapter yet. That's so wild. This has got to be a good one then. Ah, Kaminari, you don't deserve this. Ah, so it's unburnable sticky acid armor. So in that case, does Acid Man look? No, it doesn't. Acid Man clearly has like these like ears on it. Yeah, and you've got like the typical JRPG slime face here, sort of. Yeah, it's actually very different from this, which is surprising. Oh, I love this thematically too. Like the idea of her thinking of it as, like I can't think about how scared I am about midnight. I have to melt away the fear. Like, there is something really cool to her acid as a, like, it is the barrier that protects her, and it is the thing that can destroy any problem in her path. Like, it has drill-like gravitas in that sense. Ah, made the wrong choice. Shortest route means keeping the gnats from getting up again. So, first of all, means he's probably going to try and kill Mount Lady then. Then secondarily, she remembers. Why was he here, though? That's the thing. We've known this has happened for a while, but we don't know anything from his side. Oh, she fumbled it. Jeez. Oh, and he's using Unbreakable. So, not scared of, him being crushed in Gigantamakia's palm. Okay, I mean, they're in one hand, but Kirishima must have then been in the other, right? Also, I guess one member of the Paranormal League has just fallen out. God, this is so cool! Okay, so yeah, so that was the one he physically had, but he still has Mina's dose. I feel like we're going to get the double twist, though, of one of the villains just, like, freezing Gigantamakia's mouth or, like, throwing it out or something. I mean, we did hear the crunch, though. The crunch feels really weird, actually, because we can see his teeth. I mean, I guess that is supposed to just be the glass breaking in there. I'm a little disappointed that we just cut back to this. I mean, I imagine the anime is probably going to focus a little more on actually showing us what in the world this looked like. And he's not talking about Master. He is saying Dad. Like, he is thinking about, his actual dad in that case. You want ideals. I have it. No, I had it. Are we leading to more of an, like, a talky fight in that case? Like, if Tomura has finally been convinced that he can't use his raw strength in order to do this. Like, is he going to try and state his case and make them back down? I mean, I don't think he could, but, I mean, I guess it depends. It depends on whether we are then going to say that he has the same gravitas as Stain, for instance. Where, just through the nature of his vibe, his feelings, his words, he's able to pin them down without having to use a quirk at all. Not as dope a chapter as I wanted, but it was very, very dope. Like, extremely good Mina chapter. Like, even though it was called Red Riots, I feel like that is doing a disservice to her. I think this should have been called, I guess Pinky is a weird climactic chapter title. But yeah, like, I think it should have been focused more on her. Like, Kirishima was really cool, but this was clearly, like, it was her effort mostly, and then he delivered on the very end of it. I think it does disservice to him and to her to call this Red Riots. But it's still a fine chapter. I'm going to slap it right below Time Paradox. Above Black Clover, though, so, like, solidly midway through everything I read. I think that's fair. Now, let's get those author comments. There's over 2,000 One Piece line stamps. They're awesome. I've only bought 200 so far. Oda, what are you doing? I mean, he can afford them, sure, but still. Boy. I was gonna say, like, oh, that actually says something bad about the stamps, that, even the mangaka only has 1/10 of them. But at the same time, like, I think part of that isn't the, like, you need to have them all. I think, like, rather than being a got 'em catch 'em all thing, I think the point of having 2,000 One Piece line stamps is more of a, everyone can have something they want. Like, I imagine there's definitely stamps for every single arc, and then for all of the Straw Hats, for a lot of, like, the really popular characters. So yeah, like, you wouldn't want, I mean, you might want to have all of them, but you don't need to have all of them. I'd be very interested to see which ones Oda legitimately bought. Like, what stamps made him go, I need this stamp? Horikoshi. I've never been to this point of the, like, I mean, I guess I've been there with certain items, but I've never been here for an actual mechanical pencil. I prefer the Kurutoga mechanical pencils. I think those are the best. Like, I think a lot of different places have listed them as the best, but I personally, like, those got me through university. I don't really use pencils anymore because of my job, but if I need another one, I would go buy another Kurutoga. I'm all lethargic and have many more white hairs, a side effect of paying my taxes. I do like Akutami's like journey through having to pay taxes. It's been fun. Although to be fair, this might be like him just distracting us by saying, "Huh, see, I've got more white hairs because I paid my taxes." Wink, wink. Believe it. That's actually a cool note from Boichi. Like this did not come across in the slightest. I mean, I guess you could have, but it didn't like hit me as a, oh, this is the same. But yeah, like I do think that's cool, and I would like to see them do a sniper battle at some point. I do think Ukyo versus Stanley, like not in a direct battle, because I mean Stanley's got a gun, but I do think that like doing something else that really focuses on like their natural ability to see things and to like be accurate. I think that'd be really cool. After working all night, I saw my early riser sleep deprived wife sitting on the stairs. I thought she was a ghost and let out a scream. Fujimoto's liking the new arc Into Your Eternity. He's liking Swing Kids. See, I actually do like it when he talks about manga. I think like if he's going to aim for like a gimmick for his author comments, I think it should be reading manga and watching movies, because he's a very big movie person and he does seem to have like good taste in manga. I think that's a lot more interesting than his food lists. Because of the last 2 pages, my search history is now full of children's swimsuits. Please don't misunderstand. Oh boy, Miyazaki. I mean, given the context with the writer of Actage, that feels very not tasteful. Like, it is a funny joke, and I like it because of the series, because of what me and Roboco is. Like, because the series is extremely not sexualized. Like, apart from the the maid robots, and even they don't have a lot of like legit sexualization. A lot of it is just setting up the gag of a Roboco. So honestly, Shuhei Miyazaki is one of the only people in Jump where I understand that this is a completely innocent statement, and even then, a little iffy, but I'm willing to buy it. I've been practicing a little on the side by doing my art digitally. It's super convenient, but also difficult. Huh. I'm actually really curious to see what Taishi's art looks like when it's done digitally. Like, I do think a big part of why I like his art is because it's physical. There's a lot of like overly cute looks to it. Like it is, how do I put it? It isn't perfectly cleaned up, but at the same time, it's not like a sketchy style. It's certainly no Chainsaw Man, but it has a very cute energy to it a lot of the time, where it doesn't feel too sterile. I think that's really it. Like, I think his designs are super cute without looking sterile. Ah. So I've heard the Mitama's ending. I don't know if this week was the final chapter or if it's next week. I mean, I guess it has to be this week because of this comment. I do think, like, as a gag series, going out with this is actually pretty great, right? Like, rather than the traditional, thank you so much for this opportunity. Like, I really like the idea of going out with a big, hey, my new series isn't starting next week, is it? Whoops, alright, roger that. Over out. Oh, I hope this kitty gets good. Ah, alright. That is Weekly Shonen Jump for the week of August 10th, 2020. Got the list. Thank you so much for watching. Oh boy. I will put this out sometime before the end of the week, but yeah, thank you very much. It was a pretty darn decent week. I may have been a little under energetic, but I hope that this was watchable. Let me know how you feel. We got 2 slots now open in Jump, so I guess there's some more series coming. We shall see how it goes. Because yeah, like of the new series, the only ones I've really kept are Time Paradox, Me and Roboco, and Bone Collection. So I've got a little space to wiggle around with. If necessary, I might need to drop We Never Learned, but probably not. Anyways, Jump's good, all's good. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now. Nya nya.